get this now, then I come back, I could turn this into a really good run. Let's see.
Hi everyone, welcome to the visual guide for the Dying Gasp. This is the final new trial made available by patch 5.0 in Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers. I'll take it on bad faith that you wouldn't click on this captivating video without already knowing the spoilers. I really would Hades to ruin the story for you. So, spoiler alert? My name is Miztech and I'll be your trial guide. The fight begins with Ravenous Assault, a heavy-hitting tank buster on the primary target. Cool down and heal through this is necessary. When the boss casts Bad Faith, he'll move into the center and spawn two massive walls on either side of him. Each wall will have a number of arrows pointing in a specific direction. To avoid this attack, players will need to move to the side that does not have arrows actively pointing in their direction. The boss will then cast Double, making the next action initiated to be executed twice. This is followed by Dark Eruption, which will mark up players with these circle AoE markers and also places a set of circle AoEs on the ground. Affected players will need to move apart to avoid overlapping damage, and everyone needs to make sure they're not standing in any of the ground AoE circles. Broken Faith will spawn a number of orange circles all around the platform and call down discs in these locations. Once a disc reaches this section of the platform, it will explode in a wide AoE circle, much wider than the original orange circle. This explosion will deal damage and debuff anyone caught inside of it. Since these discs are coming down at different speeds in a random pattern, players will have to stay away from the areas about to explode and dodge as necessary to avoid excess damage and debuffs. Another double, and the boss will cast Shadow Spread, where players will have to dodge two sets of AoEs coming out of the boss. These mechanics will repeat with some overlap until you get him below 10% and he becomes invulnerable. At this point, he'll begin to charge up his Fervor of the Ancients gauge while spawning waves of adds. Tanks will need to pick up these loose adds as soon as possible. In the waves with invulnerable caster adds, affected players will need to spread apart the circle AoEs to avoid overlapping, while the free players group up on the stack up marker to share the damage. You'll deal with 5 waves of adds and their respective AoE attacks before the boss casts Ancient Dark 4. If he hits 100 on his gauge before you destroy all of the adds, you will die. Be sure to cool down shield and heal through this damage and get ready for the next phase. Luckily, from here on out, if you wipe, you will restart at the beginning of this new phase. In this phase, Hades is massive and will not move from the edge of the platform. He'll target the primary target with a constant barrage of auto attacks, so healers and tanks beware. Titanomachy will deal high raid-wide damage. Shield and heal through this as necessary. Shadow Stream will blast the platform directly in front of the boss, and all players will need to move to the sides of the platform to avoid the attack. Dual Strike will mark up players with these circle AoE markers. Spread these apart to avoid overlapping that damage. When the boss casts Echo of the Lost, he'll reach out with one arm and swipe across the platform. To avoid high damage and debuffs, all players must quickly move to the side of the platform behind his outstretched arm. Polydegman's Purgation will have the boss slamming down onto the outer edges of the platform. Players will need to move into the middle of the platform to avoid getting hit. Hellborn Yop will mark up the two tanks with these familiar Earthshaker markers and eventually target them both for long conal attacks. The tanks can move to the sides of the boss to bait these attacks away from the rest of the group in the center. Captivity will target two players with large AoE circle markers and stun them and anyone caught inside the attack before pulling them all into an ethereal jail. To avoid getting too many people caught in this trap, the affected players will have to move away from others. Then, all free players will need to immediately burn down the jail to release the players before the Chorus of the Lost cast goes off, or they will die. The next Dual Strike attack will also add thin tethers and AoE markers to more players. All affected players will need to spread apart to avoid overlap. Next, the platform will turn black and all players will be affected by Doom. 5 white circles will form on the platform. To remove everyone's Doom debuff, you must have at least one...
What?
players stand in each of the 5 circles or you will die. Wall of the Lost will knock back all players from the center of the platform. Make sure you're not too close to the edge during this time. At this point, you'll notice mechanics begin to repeat with increased overlap. Don't forget to stand in the white circles to remove everyone's doom, break players out of the jail, and watch for his arm swipe attacks. Eventually, the boss will cast Life in Captivity, chaining all players and beginning an active time event. Spam those buttons to break yourself free. At this point, the boss will continuously cast the Dark Devours, dealing high raid-wide damage and slowly covering the platform in darkness. Healers will need to be ready with those shields and heals, and the use of personal and raid cooldowns at this time is highly recommended. Once the entire platform is fully engulfed in shadow, all players will be affected by a bleed and the boss will cast one final Black Cauldron. If this cast goes off, you will die, so push out that damage as fast as possible to get him down first. If you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Up next, we'll start looking at the new Extreme...
Show me your vaunted strength, and I shall expose the lie of your fragmented existence. You are the worst! Your aim is my command! Vessel of flesh! Should I surrender this fight? What will become of it all? What will become?
I'm pretty good with that actually. Bad choice.
Enough, damn you!
Died.
Infernal strength!
Now! Strike with all thy might!
Epic.
That's pretty good. So am I gonna stream something that PGA, yeah, like I mean I tried it, it's not much of a game that I'm gonna play, maybe alone. Oh damn. Oh lordy.
Remember.
Oh, what is that
Remember
gonna
us.
do?
Remember that we once lived.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm probably gonna be really lazy. I'm gonna be playing PGA, so let me get some followers. Remember Fishing Planet, etc. Honestly, like, I'm gonna be completely honest. I think fishing probably more sought after, or would be like a better choice for like a niche market. I'm not entirely sure that golf,
It's
playing
over.
golf online or anything
Emmett
like
Selk
that would
is
be fun
no
unless
more.
you're like super good. So someone wants to
More
check out
importantly,
the game. Looks
how
good.
do you
Yeah,
fare?
I mean, I suppose. But like, I don't know if Switch has the category like in PS5 and
What dost thou
with the
see?
similar concept with the niche thing. Yeah, for sure.
His ether. It is as it used to be. As a disciple of Zodiac,
Kind of like,
the Ascian was the darkness
maybe not having a
to
good
your
round,
light.
jump onto some golfing.
I can but assume that when you set your strength against his, the light within you was spent.
No, it's more than that. Under the strain of that incredible flood of ether, your soul
I've seen them get some viewers, so that's really good.
how restored.
Nothing wrong with that. Like something to chill out to. Like I think
I tried to
sometimes
help
it's
you before the
difficult to
battle,
play in
but
Returnal
Emmett
with that,
Selk stopped
there's
me.
not much that I
So,
can, like, possibly
how
do
did you...
all the time.
Exactly what
So,
did you... Can you
Like,
tell
I
us
think
what
the game
happened?
expects you to be good and know everything as much as you can, at least. There's not much that I could ask necessarily. A lot of fishing back in the day. I mean, yeah, man. Brought the viewers. Second. Imagine. I think about fishing, asking viewers for tips. Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, at the moment, like, I figure I'm already going to be playing Returnal anyway because I actually genuinely want to play it, and I got it as a gift, an early birthday gift, so I'm kind of just abusing that before my birthday. Going through here, maybe? Obviously,
I see.
quite calm in here at the moment. Final Fantasy Remake is on PS5, I see. Yeah, man. I actually have it. I've already played it, and it was epic. I think
Where
when
to start?
the next one comes out, I might stream that. But like, yeah, I just wanted to kind of play
I
it for
believe
myself.
I owe you all an apology. And you, most especially.
Maybe not like the best player or whatever, but yeah, it was really fun. Like, the graphics were super good. The story was fairly similar to the original, to be fair. Should have known you had it. Yeah, of course, man. I think that's one of my favorite games of all time, if you can say it like that. Oh, jeez. Well, that isn't kosher. That is not kosher.
Well, 'tis good to be awake.
I'm to drink this green tea here. just... Yeah, I'm back. I'm back here. Desolation Helios. Suppose because I don't have any ether or whatever, but give me a...
So, those mad souls dove straight into the ocean over there, did they?
Eternal. Exactly. Name of the
All I
game.
could see from here was the whale, Master Chai.
I'm not tilted. I am
'Twas
calm.
surely Alphino and those friends of his. They did something heroic, mark my words. You need only look up there for proof of that.
Yeah. Where am I going?
As you say, my love.
Just,
They're sure to be back. Any moment now. Any moment.
just lost. Oh dear. What did we lose?
They are coming back, aren't they? I couldn't bear the thought of...
I was fighting, you did like Kelton 9.
They're there, dear. Everything will be all right.
That was it yesterday. He done pay, man. He done pay.
There, look! Over there, over the beach!
You just lost there. I'm pretty sure I know where this is going, Lisbon Lawman. I'm not sure if you want to say that last word. But I suppose me acknowledging that means that I've just lost it as well.
there!
So fair play.
Greetings!
You all right?
Welcome back!
You just played the game. So in effect, you've also lost the game.
I didn't think
More like a
be swimming.
suicide of the game.
the whole way back. Heavens,
I used to be so
Heavens.
scared of this
take me.
simulator.
Alphino! Oh, hells.
Wait, I was talking about the health globby. Which
Wait!
health globby?
Where's Oriange?
Which I didn't pick up. Is it on this map?
He must have fallen behind.
But shouldn't we look for him?
He'll wash up sooner or later.
How do you spell Chipotle?
For the love of Alphino!
Does this game not have health globbies? I mean,
Welcome back,
kinda. So
dear
you get like
ones.
minor and moderate. And I think it's heavy.
And thus did salvation come to the
So you
first.
do get health, thanks to it. So here's one of the kind of health globbies. So there's like two effects that it has. Like
The lamps of
you have
Amarot
ones
will
where it
fade
pulls
along
up
with
your
Emmett
slot,
Selk's
so you'll
enchantments,
kind
and the depths shall be as once they were.
Stole the 3 bars next to the health bar to give myself additional max health. So there's that, and then there's another one that will kind of just heal you, so just kind of normal.
Mount Gulg will one day
Get some damn
fall,
integrity.
and the Talos below yield to wind and rain.
Here, integrity power.
This tale too will fade with time, passing
got a
into
lot of
legend
integrity.
as the world heals
Integrity.
and moves on.
Green one was called integrity, was it? Was it? Yeah, absolutely, it was integrity. So that's like health. basically.
Nevertheless,
So the integrity of the suit that you're in. So if you lose that integrity, obviously, this is hostile conditions and you peg. Like, see something down there. How do I jump? Shit is but you get like I don't want to put this data. Sorry, that message went really quickly. I saw something about a cigar and then kind of went off. And I don't know how to like make that quicker, but I'll read up into that because there's no setting in PS5 that's kind of made it that the kind of message was there, at least from what I could see. So, I'll have a look tonight and see if I can do that. I do want to read your messages and reply, but unfortunately, it's not working.
Your road goes ever on, as does your story, as does your legacy. Such is the hero's lot, to touch the lives of countless others.
Excuse me? You're the Warrior of Darkness, aren't you? Where are you from, really? And how did you get to be so strong?
Imagine some of these creatures in real life. I mean, I would shit myself. I mean, yeah. I mean, there's some creatures in real life that suck as well, to be honest. Like mosquitoes, they suck. Imagine like a huge mosquito. I think that would be terrifying. That's essentially where I would go next. But again, I need a better weapon before moving on.
By your deeds has the blinding light been banished from these skies, and the Sin Eaters driven to retreat. Although our many hurts will be years in the mending, I have faith that this world and her people will one day be whole once more. With no rejoining in prospect, the Source need no longer fear the coming of an 8th umbral calamity.
And with that triumph, the future from which you came will no longer come to pass. Yet here you still stand.
So I do. I wonder if that other age continues onward somehow, cut adrift from time's flow. Or have I simply etched myself a place upon this new block of history? Either way, this is an unexpected development. As the summoner of your souls, my death was meant to release you back to your world. Yet I am very much alive, and you are still stuck here in the First.
I believe I speak for us all when I say that we are happy to postpone our return if it means your life is spared. We will seek out another way.
Besides, I never had any intention of rushing home. There are people here I still need to thank, and this means I might actually have time to do so.
Mistress Tataru, to name but one, will be most anxious to know how things stand with us.
So, you'll just have to make the journey alone for the moment. Be sure and give a full report to our fellow sires, would you? Oh, and we'd also appreciate any news you can bring us from back home.
Then I see no reason to delay. I can open the path from here.
I imagine we each have matters demanding our attention, so let this be a farewell for us all. Send word when you've resummoned our friend. Oh, and do try to ensure he arrives within the city next time.
Of course. I shall strive for utmost accuracy. No strange forests or unplanned passengers, I promise.
I'm a little relieved, to be honest. I would have been terribly lonely if everyone had suddenly disappeared. But I understand that you have to go. Safe journey, warrior of darkness. I hope to see you again soon.
Just a moment while I attune the portal. Then you can be on your way.
To be honest, it's super easy to kind of set up just so that it's free, so it's making good use of that.
When I was a boy, many long years ago, I yearned to stand tall as the heroes of Eld. But like a fool seeking to pluck the stars from the heavens, my every attempt to reprise their deeds fell short. And then one day, an all but forgotten dream from my youth stood before me in the flesh. A hero who looked at the horizon and beyond and saw I knew not what. All I knew was that I would give anything to stand at that hero's side. Would that it was so easy. The glory of the heavens was ever beyond the grasp of those who never thought to reach for it. But if I have gained anything from all of this, it is the courage to stretch out my hand. Do you hear me, Grahatia? This is no time for sleeping.
To the west gate. I want to know what's happening there.
Same as the others. Struck down with a single blow. An unfortunate day to draw guard duty. Forgive me. These were your people.
We took advantage of this slaughter to slip into the palace. 'Tis not for me to grieve them. That was the Emperor! Wait! Ugh! You Radiants!
Gaius, you've missed your part in this, I'm afraid.
Identify yourself, demon!
You were hoping for the Ascian? The Craven shed this skin and fled, rather than face me. A pity. I was looking forward to crossing blades with myself. But I cannot deny the feeling of satisfaction. Body and soul reunited at last.
What now? The game continues, but the pieces have changed.
Only if we trust in a paragon's words. A mistake I do not intend to repeat. Gaius!
He speaks the truth. Elidibus is gone. Tore a hole into the rift. Xenos, my foolish, greedy son. Was a second life not enough? Was the Empire too rich a prize to ignore? True freedom for our nation, our people, will never be won by a spoiled princeling. The burden of this throne is beyond you.
'Tis you, father, who have struggled with this burden. Simply holding the Empire together has occupied your limited faculties. But you may take comfort in knowing that I have no intention of pursuing your tedious agenda. Nor am I interested in ruling over the Empire's lands. I came only to remove that which ruins my sport. I will not have my prey stolen by your petty wars and cowardly weapons.
You would kill me just for that.
I need no other reason. Any and all who interfere with my hunt will not do so twice! I heard the Ascians speak of Zodiac and Eidolon. Even the will of this star is but a construct of our own making. We shall gorge upon their strength, and then, my friend, our contest shall begin anew.
Xenos!
You're here. Good. Still locked in slumber, but otherwise in good physical health. For the present, at least.
For the present? Oh no, is something wrong with them?
I'm afraid there may be. I summoned you after detecting faint signs of instability in Thancred's corporeal ether. But subsequent examination suggested all 5 might be affected. And when I examined them just now, my fears were confirmed. Tellingly, the degree of instability varies between them. Thancred exhibits the most notable signs, followed by Y'shtola and Urianger. The twins' ether, meanwhile, remains relatively stable, but there is a change there too if one knows to look for it.
Hold on. Isn't that the order they were called away in?
Indeed. Which leads me to believe the instability will only increase with time. Though I can but speculate, I fear this may be a symptom of a weakening link between body and soul.
By the gods! What happens if the link is broken?
I cannot say for certain. This is all unknown territory to us. Yet whatever happens, it cannot be good. Mercifully, the instability is still only slight. And you may rest assured Master Matoya and I will do everything in our power to keep it from worsening. Be that as it may, it is imperative that you find a way to restore our friends' souls to their bodies. Thank you.
But where's he even supposed to start? We had the greatest minds in the realm hunting high and low for an answer, and they ran out of places to look.
You stated in your report that the Exarch had originally intended to reverse the summoning process by means of his own death, correct? Raha always was a reckless young fool, ready to die for the first righteous cause that came along. His plan might well have worked, but I for one am glad he never had the opportunity to see it through. Even if it does mean our friends must remain stranded a while longer. There is another way, I am sure of it. And the key lies with him, with the Exarch. Pray return to the First and apprise him and the others of the situation. We, meanwhile, will do what we can from here. And, if the fates are kind, we will have good news to share upon your return.
Pray excuse my late arrival.
Will Thancred and Reen not be joining us?
Nay, milady. With apologies to all, they beg leave to pursue their investigation of the empty to its conclusion. Should matters here demand their presence, however, they did assure me that they would make themselves available.
Yes, of course. Then let us proceed. I think it best that you begin by providing a summary of Mistress Kryle's findings.
Move.
I suppose it was only to be expected that some change would occur.
Yet our souls seem unaffected, to my eye at least. How long they will remain so is another question. Kryle is right. It is imperative we find a way to return to the source.
Perhaps an explanation of the method by which I brought you here will yield some inspiration. Ere I begin, it must be noted that I am by no means a gifted mage. In order to employ powerful magics, I must rely upon the Crystal Tower and its boundless reservoirs of energy. The magic that summoned you was no exception. 'Tis a singular spell, adapted through painstaking effort from the technique that transported me to the First. To use an analogy, it works by cutting a hole in the fabric of reality. A hole tailored to the object of summoning, through which it and it alone may pass unscathed. Though I succeeded in creating said hole, I failed to latch onto my intended target. Instead of you, the spell found those close to you, and ended up summoning them in their incomplete state. I would not soon throw my life away, not after the lengths you and yours went to save it. And so long as I breathe, I will spare no effort to see you safely home. But should all else fail, and your lives be at stake, there remains one sure method.
What was that for?
How can you even entertain such thoughts? You owe your life to the Warrior of Light, and you don't get to die unless he says so.
Your followers await your divine judgment.
What did you just...
If the two of you have finished, perhaps we could return to our discussion? Rather than dwelling upon the multiple failed attempts at transference, I think it would behoove us to focus on the solitary success. I would draw your attention to the fact that our friend can travel between worlds possessed not only of his body and soul, but his personal effects besides. This is no different from the teleportation magics to which we are all accustomed. Magics that allow for the transportation of those inanimate objects one considers to be an extension of oneself.
Are you suggesting that simply by considering us his possessions, he could carry our souls back to the source upon his person?
Well, it would be nice if things were that simple for a change. But vague notions of ownership seem a rather tenuous thing to stake our lives on. So much as a moment of doubt on his part, and we'd be left floating in the rift.
Milady hath the right of it. The requisite fixity of belief would be too much to ask even of our friend. Yet, were we to immure our souls within an object in his possession, mayhap then our safe passage could be assured. White Auracite would, I believe, serve as a suitable vessel for this purpose. It was conceived to imprison the massy soul of an Ascian, and should house one of ours with relative ease. We would need only to ensure our soul's safe preservation inside the stone, and identify a means by which they might be transferred back onto our vacant bodies.
Soul preservation and transference. I believe I know of someone who may be able to assist us. On the far shore of the source, there stands a great palace built by the elves. It was forsaken in the wake of the flood, but a certain Numo chose to make their home there soon after. Though they have long lived as a recluse, they once occupied a place of honor in Verbert's royal court, and it is said that none in all of Norvrant is more knowledgeable than they on matters of the soul.
Well, I've no objection to seeking a helping hand, but if they've gone to such lengths to hide themselves away from the world, what makes you think they'd be willing to lend us one?
A worthy question. Years ago, I myself tried and failed to solicit their cooperation in the battle against the Sin Eaters. No sooner had I begun to make my plea than they unleashed a swarm of their familiars upon me. Unlike me, however, you have curried favor with the Fae folk. By that merit alone, I am hopeful that they would grant you an audience. They may still be inclined to turn you away, of course, but if their knowledge might feasibly facilitate your return home, we have to try.